Let's bring you back into the country. A police officer will be charged with the murder of 2 university students in Nairobi in November last year. This follows an order from the Director of Public Prosecutions, Keriako Tobiko. Ian Wafula has the details of this story.
Without addressing this, what I'm not sure of is whether I'm addressing the government or the police officers that shot my son.
The portrait of his son makes David Mackenzie nostalgic of the proud father he was. Humble, smart and responsible is how he describes Felix Magomere, now deceased. But when he talks about the circumstances of his son's death, the conversation brings to the fore the pain he has lived with for nearly 1 year now. But he's not the only one still grieving. Joseph Mose lost his nephew Davis Nyangina at the same time as David and under the same circumstances. And this is how fate brought the two together to fight for justice. The deceased Felix and Dennis had arrived in Nairobi from Egerton University to apply for the HELB loans on the 7th of November 2014, the last day their families would hear from them.
My sister Priya Nyangina, he called me that Dennis has gone missing for almost a week. Last time I talked to him, he wanted some money. I've sent the money, but he has not responded whether he has got the money or not. He told me this is that he has gone missing. I don't know, Nairobi. Go back to Nairobi and start the search.
Now that we are not getting much from Central Police Station, so we went to Kamkunji Police Station, and we were lucky to get this senior police officer from that end. So he said, I remember very well. On 7th, I was not on duty in the evening, but in the Rural Police walkie-talkie, I had some information that there were 2 students, not really students, there were 2 people who had been killed around Globe Roundabout.
Close to 3 weeks later, it would turn out that on the same evening, the 2 boys would be shot to death at Nairobi's Globe Roundabout. The police claimed that they had been involved in criminal activities. However, the manner in which the incident was handled by the police left too many questions unanswered. First, it was the conflicting reports by the police officers, then the failure by the police to record the circumstances behind the incident on the occurrence book and how the bodies were handled at the city mortuary.
According to the gate attendants, because that's where we got the GK number and the time they checked in. So she told me that it's good now that now the family of the 2 boys, now that you're around. There has been police officers who have been roaming around since then, trying to find out whether the bodies have been, moved or whether the owners have been identified.
Investigations by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority corroborated with the family's report that the boys had arrived in Nairobi on the very same day and that indeed they were innocent. It goes on to give damning revelations that despite school identification cards with them, they were shot at and police labeled them as unidentified persons. But that is not all. It names Constable Patrick Duranira as the officer who not only shot at them, but also was off duty at the time and was armed with a police pistol, which he allegedly used to kill the 2 students.
They had been informed that they were thieves. In fact, I was surprised because that was the first time they were thieves. Because I've stayed with Dennis since childhood. He has never, when the local chiefs can tell you, Dennis was a number. In fact, he had even sponsor from lower primary because he was very hardworking, well known in the village.
You can imagine a young boy actually being gunned down by 6 bullets.
How old was Felix?
So I don't understand. 6 bullets is humane. That's not something that should happen to someone.
Back in 2014, a report by the Independent Medical Legal Unit, IMLU, described the police in Kenya as, quote-unquote, the #1 killer, and that criminals had killed fewer people than police within the same year.
Denison Felix joined the hundreds of people who've lost their lives in the hands of the very people who are meant to not only protect them but also uphold the law. In fact, a report by the Human Rights Commission said that between the years 2009 and 2014, at least 1,500 people lost their lives in the hands of police. Ian Wafula, KTN News, Nairobi.